Yeah, so we'll just, no.
Well, we live in a different world, don't we?
Why don't we do two more?
It's 4 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Ms. Davis, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Coleman.
Here.
Mr. Dog.
Yeah.
Dr. Davis.
Here.
Can't hardly hear you.
320035331.
Mr. Duncan.
Here.
Mr. Elmore.
Here.
Mr. Gunn.
Here.
Hi, my name is Steve Bird, and I'm a candidate for Florence City Council at large. On 5 basic principles that I
Mr. Keels. Senator Leatherman.
Here.
Mr. Lee.
Here.
Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Dr. Kelly. That's it.
Mr. Keels and Mr. Bryson are here.
Yeah, I didn't hear my name. I'm sorry if I
Yes.
didn't
Okay,
respond.
I got you.
Ken, it's Stephen Jones. I'm here. I didn't hear my name as well. I apologize.
Kim, this is W. I think mine was the first name called out, but I'm here too.
Yes, sir, I got you.
Okay.
All right. For the record, the media has been notified in accordance with the requirements of the Freedom of Information Act. A quorum is present. First item we have to take up is the approval of minutes of June 4, 2020. Are there any additions or corrections?
Move they be approved as submitted.
Motion by Mr. Coleman,
Second.
second by Mr. Jones. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right.
We'll go straight into the committee reports. The Executive Affairs Committee is reporting out the resolution 05-20, which was in your packet. It is the campus reopening plan that you have there. It comes with the recommendation of the Executive Committee. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Is there any discussion or any questions on this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right.
Passes unanimously. We'll next go to Academic Affairs and Accreditation. And Mr. Bryson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Academic Affairs and Accreditation met earlier this week. We had a very well-attended Zoom meeting. I can tell you that the staff under the leadership of Dr. King, the Provost's office, has been hard at work planning for the fall semester. As you can imagine, with social distancing needs, classroom capacities have had to be reduced, furniture removed, larger classes are being relocated to auditoriums and the gymnasium to accommodate social spacing. And what was really gratifying to hear is how a lot of the faculty have stepped up and offered to do workshops for their other faculty members to help them develop and improve online classes. They're sharing their expertise and working together for the common good. And that was very exciting and gratifying to learn about. There will be an increase in the number of online classes offered this fall, and a lot of classes will be offered as in class and online a blend of those two. But most classes will be traditional face-to-face starting September the 8th. So again, kudos to all the hard work that's being done there. The faculty elections, which are usually held in the spring, have been postponed until the fall, and they're hoping to get together as a group in the fall later this year. Admissions continues to be very active. There have been a number of virtual orientations for new students that have taken place throughout the summer and will continue till August 17th. The CASA counselors have been meeting with students to register new students in their fall classes. And this was very exciting to hear too, that total enrollment for the fall, including new and returning students, is pretty much on par with last year, which was a really good year for Francis Marion. So that's good news and encouraging. 36 students will complete their degrees in the summer, and that will bring the grand total for the 2019-2020 school year to 677 graduates. We had a good report from our various colleges. The couple things of note: the School of Business just recently received notice that their accreditation with the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business has been renewed. That was really good news. And then the nursing programs at the baccalaureate, master's, and doctorate levels just received their accreditation with the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education, and also was named a National Center of Excellence by the National League of Nursing. So a lot of good things going on. Very grateful for all the hard work of the staff. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Any question, Mr. Bryson? Hearing none, we'll next go to Development and Alumni. We'll go to Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we met on July 23rd and had a very productive meeting. We first heard from Lauren Stanton, our Executive Director for the Education Foundation, and she told us about some of the gifts they've been getting. The Education Foundation's received contributions to the Norman Scholarship and also the Hampton Howard Brown Scholarship, and they're in the process of finalizing 4 new endowed scholarships. So that's all good news. Also, the Alumni Affairs Report, Lee Daugherty reported that he had attended a virtual Council of Alumni Marketing and Membership Professionals, that they call it the CAMP Conference, and gained perspective about others' experiences from across the country. The Alumni Board continues to meet virtually, and to maintain social distancing, alumni receptions are being hosted at the Performing Arts Center. And finally, we heard from Teresa Ramey, our Vice President for Regional and Community Programs. The University Place Gallery continues to be open from Tuesday to Friday, noon to 5. Exhibits are available in person and also online. The Richardson Center for the Child has begun in person since June 15th and continues to follow the DSS, DHEC, and CDC guidelines. They're also offering supplemental opportunities online as well. And the Performing Arts Center is currently following state guidelines. As of July 29th, the governor released all theaters, festivals, performing arts centers, and the like for operation, providing there are no more than 250 people or 50% capacity in attendance, whichever is the lowest number. The Performing Arts Center will make necessary adjustments and work with potential artists in that endeavor. So that's moving forward, and then adjustments will be made as new state guidelines become available. The Allman Betts Band concert that was scheduled for August 19th has been moved to May 27th of 2021. And that concludes my report. I apologize for the dollar readers, but I can't see otherwise right now.
Any questions for Mr. Moore? Hearing no question, Mr. Moore, we'll next go to Finance and Facilities. Mr. Gunn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Carter. Good afternoon. Finance and Facilities Committee met last Wednesday and had a number of items to take up. We reviewed the 2019-2020 operating fund. The university collected revenues of $925,000 above projections and held expenses to 90% of the operating budget. Quite a feat. The university has utilized the CARES Act funding to fund direct assistance to students and provide refunds for housing and dining fees at the end of the spring semester, and to offset expenses related to COVID-19. The The university will continue to seek reimbursements for all eligible expenses related to the pandemic. Our operating budget for the current year is based upon continuing resolution for the budget that was adopted by the General Assembly in 2019-2020 and tuition revenue projections. Once fall revenues are finalized, the university will adjust revenue and expenses accordingly. General Assembly is scheduled to return to Columbia in September to deal with these matters. And also, major projects remain on schedule, with the Leatherman Medical Education Complex being finalized in the next couple of weeks, and the Honor Center being completed mid-semester. And so that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman, and certainly a good job by everyone.
Any questions, Mr. Gunn? Hearing no question, Mr. Gunn, we'll next go to the student life and athletics. I don't see Ms. Leatherman. Can somebody report on that, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got an echo. Let me fix it. I think that should have eliminated. Yeah, this is Paul Dove. Chairman Leatherman is traveling today, and so I'm filling in. Our Student Life and Athletics Committee met Tuesday on August the 4th at 2 p.m. It was well attended. Mrs. Leatherman presided and welcomed us. She then called on SGA President Ty Robinson for an update. He provided an extensive overview of plans and objectives for SGA for this academic year. Included were their mission statement, vision statement, strategic plan, and organizational and structural plans and changes. He closed noting that the continuing SGA food pantry and clothing closet were very popular and would again be used this year. Best thing I can tell you about Mr. Robinson is that he is not a product of the Georgetown School District.
He's close.
Then Dr. Kennedy updated us on virtual and online activities for student life and face-to-face plans this fall. He noted that new initiatives in Greek life were being put into place, which included moving some of the sororities and fraternities to campus. And that there were following the various protocols for student life as we deal with starting the new semester and the COVID requirements. Mr. Hartler then spoke on athletics. He cited team accolades for women's and men's tennis and other academic awards that athletic teams had won this past year. He said there's a pushback on fall sports in effect until October the 1st. Some practices will begin earlier based on division and FMU protocols. Additional protocols have been formulated for the locker rooms, weight room, travel, and all the different aspects of the athletic program. Student athletes will be screened daily before practices and will be tested during the semester for COVID-19. All coaches and teams have been or will be briefed on these protocols. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the report. Thank you.
Any questions, Mr. Dove? Hearing no questions, Mr. Dove, we'll now go to the President's report. Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as you know, we've been on the last 3 weeks. The senior staff has been pretty much on an accelerated routine with regard to getting ready for the moving in of our students next week. We've been able to, I think, the campus is ready. I think the items that the board just approved, the resolution pertaining to this brochure, I think all of those are in place at this juncture and prepared as students come in. Our first students will move in next Thursday. Dr. Kennedy has that housing check-in process well developed, and we'll begin the health screenings as our students move in next week. And then, of course, they'll be moving in and coming into the dorms over the 3 weeks that we're online. But it is notable that more than half of our students have indicated that they want to move in the first week of that online period. It's clear to us that many of our students are anxious and ready to get back to school, and we want to accommodate that as maximum extent possible. As you know, we go face-to-face on September the 8th. I think our classrooms are ready for that. I think the spacing is correct for that. As you've approved today, it'll be all mask all the time on this campus, except in areas outside that's not related to campus events. So we're at this juncture, we're just about set. The one point I would probably make, Trustee Dove, yesterday we received a new set of guidelines from the Board of Governors of the NCAA. So I think we're in the process now of, I think the athletic director and the administration, we're all in the process of trying to digest this new set of guidelines and understand what that means with regard to when we can actually begin practice, begin testing, and what implications that will have on our season. It's likely our season may be moved back beyond October 1st, given at least those directives we received yesterday. Mr. Chairman, let me just say a word or two about, I know there was a facilities report. I just want to echo the fact that the Hugh and Jean Leatherman Medical Education Complex building will be finished probably in about the next 30 days or so. It is a stunningly beautiful building inside. Everything that we thought would be realized with the renovation of that old post office has been realized. And I think when each of the trustees have an opportunity to go through that building, you'll appreciate what a fine job been done and bringing that old building back up to the type of restoration level that we hope we will be able to achieve. The Honors Center building on campus will likely open the following month. We're hopeful we'll be in there in October. We need that room for additional classes, so we're optimistic about getting into that building in early October. Mr. Chairman, trustees, what we will do with both of those buildings, we want to honor the Leathermans when we dedicate the building, do the ribbon cutting. We want to do the same thing with the Honors Center in terms of recognizing the supporters to that building as well. But this isn't the time to do ribbon cuttings and dedications. So we're probably going to put those events off until later in the fall. And we've talked to our philanthropic supporters relative to that. Everyone seems to be in concurrence with that. And hopefully within the next 30 days or so, we'll be able to set some tentative dates for when we might be able to do that in October or early November with both those facilities. Let me just a quick word on the Freshwater Ecology Center. The plans are just about finalized with that Ecology Center, and construction will begin in early fall, and we fully expect to be able to occupy that center, have our biologist and our chemist out there by the summer of 2021. And as we had anticipated with that facility too, that's going to be a wonderful recreational site for the community, in addition to being a first-rate instructional and research site for the university. Finally, Mr. Chairman, I want to return to one other theme that we've been kicking around and trying to find the right time and place to attend. If you recall, we all agreed that we wanted our May graduates in 2020 to be able to have a commencement ceremony, a real commencement ceremony. And so we've been trying to determine the right location, the right date, when it would be safe. The governor's new guidelines essentially allow us to have now events, but with capacities and buildings up to 250. So what we're going to do with that, with the spring 2020 graduating class and the summer graduates from this summer, is we're going on the weekend of September the 18th and 19th, we're going to stage 4 successive graduation ceremonies. We're going to break those graduates into 4 groups. On Friday night, the School of Business and the School of Education graduates will graduate, and each graduate will be able to have invite 4 guests to that graduation. Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, the biology, chemistry, physics and engineering and psychology departments will graduate. Again, with each graduate being able to invite 4 guests to the ceremony. That afternoon at 2, English, fine arts, history, mass comm, political science, sociology, and general studies will graduate. Same routine. And finally, that evening at 6 o'clock, the School of Health Sciences will graduate. The good news, and I know my trustees enjoy attending commencement, but this is one commencement that we're going to ask you to watch on stream and not attend because of the capacities that we're going to have within the gym relative to those events. So we're asking, of course, the chair of the board to come and represent the Board of Trustees. The chair of the faculty, Professor Gorley, will represent the faculty. The provost and I will be on stage with a couple of other university officials, and that'll allow us to fall right in under that 250 level that the governor has prescribed for attendance at ceremonies. But we will then have honored our commitment to the class of 2020, spring class of 2020, that we would give them a real graduation and not a virtual graduation or a drive-through. And I think certainly the response we're getting back is they're deeply appreciative of that. So 4 graduations in a row, but I think we'll get this one get this one out of the way, and it'll be a fine celebration. And Mr. Chairman, I know as you always desire, it'll be on our campus and it'll be in our traditional gymnasium, which is where graduation ought to always be. Finally, I guess I just want to conclude by saying this. As I've told many of you before, this senior staff has worked so hard this summer. The men and women sitting behind me and represent this university administratively, the chair of the faculty, the chair of the student body, have worked very, very hard getting us ready for what will be maybe one of the most unusual opening semesters in the history of this university. And I'm deeply appreciative for what they've done. I'm no less appreciative for the input and feedback and guidance that the Board of Trustees have given us every step of the way. I'm deeply appreciative to the Executive Committee for spending an afternoon going through that plan with me, step by step by step, so I could go back to the senior staff and we could further refine it to get it exactly where we needed to be. I want to thank all of you for that. And I just remind you, ultimately, our students will be the beneficiary of the fine work that you and the senior staff have done on this plan. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Any questions for Dr. Carter? Hearing no questions for Dr. Carter, I'm not aware of any unfinished business. In new business, I was asked about the wages to let everyone know that Fred's evaluation to the agency head commission is due. So if you have anything you want to input on that, if you'll please contact her in the next week, that needs to go in. Not aware of the need for an executive session. Therefore, I have a motion to adjourn.
No motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Board will stand adjourned. Thank you.